Okay, so next thing I want to do, I want to put in the back rig. Let's see if we can get the back and the neck all in one go, and then we'll do a separate one for the arm. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab my little cube down here, my curve box. Actually, right up in here, I can't really see it. I'm just going to right click on it and go to edit. There it is. If I go to the shelves, you can see there it is right there, and it doesn't really have a name. So icon name, command, button, whatever. Let's go in and give it an icon label, and I'm just going to call it C dash box. C box. I'll hit there, and boom, now I know what the hell that is. Nice short little name. Let's make this bigger, and we'll scale it flat. I'll put this up here. Okay, and so got our first one again. I'm going to make a duplicate. Boop. So I have a midsection one. I'll make another one. Have this right here. And let's just hide those things for a second. I'm just going to move the pivot point so that it's directly, this one here is going to be for my pelvis control. So I'll just hold down D and V, and I'm going to move it right there. This one, that's part of my belly here, the stomach area. This one here, the back. Okay, great. I've got those all lined up. I should also, I'm just going to freeze these. There's no history on them. Just gonna call this one here. Let's name these pelvis underscore control. And then this one here, this will be back one. Control. And I'm just going to take that, copy it, and put it over here onto this one, and Control V, and make sure it's back 2. Okay, or this is like shoulder control. I could call that as well, belly control or something. I would like to actually make sure that they all have a shape that seems to relate to the character. So let's bring that back. So maybe if I go in here, let's go to the side view, and I'm just going to grab the control vertices, and there's something like that. Looks kind of like underwear, but not. I think it's easy to select from all angles. This one here is not doing too bad. Maybe I'll pull it in slightly. Maybe out a bit or something. Sometimes I kind of like an angle that looks like that. Just because everything tends to slope down, the geometry should slope down from the back. CVs, pull this forward. I might take this one and put this up this way so I kind of get a better sense that this is the upper area here, almost like the rib cage. Okay, I pulled it too far. Let's give it some decent distance here. Doesn't look too bad. Let's look at that from the front view. And again, this is all just kind of visually pleasing. So it doesn't really matter where these points are. I'm grabbing the vertices so I don't have to freeze the transforms on the controls again. So just take these and put them in here. I'm not sure if I got both of those. It looks like I did. Let's just double check. So I get the ones from the back. Yeah, okay, good enough. And how's that for selecting? Should be relatively easy. Okay, great. Now, if I go in here and I grab, say, this one, and I grab that joint, I'm just going to go ahead and put a parent constraint on it. Okay, so the parent constraint has made it so the joint is turned blue over here, and this thing, when I grab it and I rotate it, it moves the hips around. Oh, and I Actually, just gonna pause. Okay, coming back. I'm just checking that out. I just had to make sure IK handles were in there. Okay, so I'm rotating that around. That's all good. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this one and that joint right there, and I'll go in and I will put a parent constraint on it. Take this one and I'll do this one as well. Constraint, parent. Okay, nothing special. Oh, and everything freaks out. Actually, you know what? I haven't saved for a while. I'm just going to quickly file, save scene as, and make sure that I've got this saved, because that would make me sad. Back rig. Done. Okay. And let's just test it out. If I grab this controller by itself, just a moment ago when I did this and started freaking out, it's just because they're both still selected, the back control and the joint. If I deselect and I just select it again, it's all fine. So that's working fine. If I grab this one and this one at the same time, they're fine. Okay, they're rotating. We can see an issue. This one needs to be parented to that one. Okay, so now when I grab this one, it moves that other one up above it, or underneath it essentially. If I select them both at the same time, they work together. You can kind of see I need to do some more weighting on this, but they're working together. This one here still works independently, so I get independent hip movement. That's what I want. And I've got one more problem. If I move this around, notice that this joint isn't moving. We need one that moves the root joint. And I'm just going to go in and I'll create something that looks a little bit different. I'll just go to the NURBS and I'll create a circle. Let's hide this. I'm just going to take my circle and I will snap it up here to the root joint, and let's just make it a bit bigger than the rest of them. Here, something like this. You can make whatever shape you want to. I'm just going to stick with that. I think it should be fine. I'm just going to freeze the transformations, kill the history, and this is going to be my upper body underscore control. There we go. And I'm going to select it, and I'm going to select that joint, the root joint, and I am going to go to constrain. I'm going to hit parent constraint. And so now when I move it, it will move just that one joint. The other ones are constrained. So that means I select this one, and I hold down shift and select that last, and I press P. I have just parented those other controllers to this. Remember, that's parenting. Edit, parent. Hotkey is P, not a constraint on your controllers. So now when I move this around, it moves the whole upper body. Let's just put that back, and I'm just going to bring in the body so you can see it. This one's moving the whole upper body. This one here has independent hip movement. And these two here operate the belly section. These two controllers really, like, I'm almost feeling I want to have it down a bit lower, but you know, like your belly moves here, and then just you get to your rib cage, and that's the area that kind of distorts right here. This area doesn't move much. So, and I can see I can do a bit of weighting, but whatever. So there's my back controls. Then for the neck, we're going to keep this pretty simple. Let's hide this. I'm going to go in here to create NURBS circle, and I'll just use, I got the move tool on. I'm just going to hold down B, and I'm going to middle click snap. There's part of me wants to do fancy, tricky things here, but I'm going to keep this relatively simple again. Okay, I'm just going to take this, I'm going to move it up a little bit so it's easy to see, easy to select, hopefully. Okay, and I might even, I don't know, just visually, I think it'll look better if it's like that. I'll make a duplicate of this one. I can pull that up a bit, pull it forward a bit. Okay, and I might make that one just a tiny bit smaller. Okay, and let's hide my geometry again. I'll just name this one here. Actually, I'm just going to get rid of the history on it. And this is neck underscore 01 underscore control. I'll just copy that because I'm lazy and I don't want to type. Go rid of this one. And instead of neck 1, this is going to be 2. Okay, great. I'm just going to take the 2 of these. I'm going to freeze the transformations and make sure there's no history on them. Okay, good. The pivot points for these is not in a very good spot, so I'm going to move the pivot point. DV, middle click, pop. DV, middle click, pop. So now those are right on top of the joint. Great. Let's bring back the geometry. Now for the head control, I don't like anything that kind of gets too much in front of the face. I always want something that I could select. It's over here. So let's just go to the right view. And I'm going to go to the Create CV Curve tool. And I'll just kind of create something that almost looks like a weird haircut. Something like this. Actually, it's backspace. I don't think that looks good. It's nice, easy to select from here. Okay, and I think I'll just hit enter and something like that. And that's going to be my head control. You might have a different preference, and you totally can. Might make a different shape, but I just do something like that. Again, I can select it like this, hide that for a moment. Oh, it doesn't look like I did a very good job here. This is kind of messy. Let's just see if I can delete that one and see how those are overlapping. No one's going to see this. It doesn't matter. Okay, and I'm just going to take the pivot point, DV, middle click, pop it on the head joint here. And I'll bring that back. Okay, so the head control, grab the head joint, and I go in to constrain. I'll do a parent constraint on it. I grab this neck joint here. I'm going to grab that back, or there's the neck, or the neck control, and then I'm grabbing the neck joint, and I'm going to go in. I'll do a parent constraint. Do the same thing on neck 1. Constrain, parent. Okay. I'll just check. Does this work? If I grab the rotate tool, totally works. Moving the head around. And this one, it works, but it's just moving the joint. So I need to take the head control and I need to parent it to the neck control. Take that neck control, middle click, drag and drop onto that neck control. There they are. They're all parented together. Remember, this is the hierarchical parenting. Edit, parent. And if I were to do something tricky, like to grab them all together, now that they're parented together, they'll do a nice deformation on the neck. I can see I've got some weighting issues down here. It's always easier to do those last bits of weighting at the very end. You can do the weighting at any time. I did a few things in weighting earlier just because I know it just looks a bit better if I do them earlier, but I'll do them at the end. Okay, and the last thing, for this, the head part here with the control, I take this neck 1 and I hold down shift and I grab the upper body, or if I grab the back control 2 and I hit P and I parent it. Now when I move this around, those controls follow. Okay, all that's together. We're at the 13-minute mark. Maybe we can do just like one more control here. Let's just hide this. I've got the foot controls in place. I've got all the back and the head controls. And if I go up here to create curve tools, I go to the EP curve tool. It's on one linear. I make one more control here. I'm just going to hold down X. And I typically do something like this. And there's 3 units there, boop, there. Just kind of staring at this as I go. And okay, almost done. Boop, boop, boop. Enter. And that's my God control. Okay, and remember earlier I went to the script editor and I can see that piece of information right there. I just kind of click and I drag down, it grabs the whole line, and then you can middle click, drag and drop, and I'll put that right beside CBox, mail script. It's in there. If I go in and I, oops, I created a couple of extra ones. It wasn't what I meant to do. If I go and I right click and I hit edit, I can go into the shelves, and for the icon label, oh God, there. And when I hit save all shelves, it's sitting right there. There, so I can get to my God control quickly. There it is. God call it, master controller, whatever you want to call it. And for the God control, if these feet are selected, I grab this last, I press P, so now when I grab this thing, the feet are going to follow the God control around. Okay, and then if I select the upper body control and I parent that to the God control, now when I move this, the whole thing falls around. I didn't do the other foot, to be honest. I haven't done that yet. I'm just making the videos all in series and trying to do them quick. I'll do that later. So there it is. I've got the back control and the God control in place. I'm going to stop the video now and I'll do arm controls next.